Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Stefan Grobe. My guest today is Mario Lóbetkin, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Uruguay. Thanks for joining us today, Minister.
Thanks.
Good to have you here. So it's not every day that we have top visitors from South America in Brussels. What's the reason for your visit? So tell us about your conversations, your meetings.
First of all, from last week, Uruguay is the chair of Mercosur. Mercosur, you know perfectly because there is an agreement between Mercosur and European Union that started formally on 1st of May this year, and it's a quality change not only for Europe and for Europe or for Mercosur. It's a quality change for all of us, and it's very important for, how we can say, the taxpayer to understand why this agreement is important. Now, obviously that in the framework of our action, cooperation, and initiative, one of the key sectors is to develop trade, to develop business, and to work in another way between the private sector of both realities. We met with the private sector of Europe, organized the meeting with the authorities of the European Community, of the European Union, especially with the Commissioner of Trade, in which we open a dialogue that we want to conclude in December because we want to organize in the framework of the agreement between European Union and Mercosur the first trade event between European Union and Mercosur that we want to organize on 2nd of December in Uruguay during our presidency.
Minister, there's a lot to unpack here. Uruguay was the first country to ratify the agreement. Now it holds the Mercosur presidency, as you said. Is this finally the moment when the EU-Mercosur agreement becomes a reality, or are you still worried that it could fall apart? What are the most sensitive pending issues?
So first of all, the 4 countries of Mercosur ratify in 2 months. Never happened before something like this. So the parliament of the 4 countries ratify in 2 months. And that is something that is important to highlight. And we need to take in account that the Mercosur government are completely different. There are right government, there are left government, but we have all in the same vision. That is strategically for us, but not from us to Europe. It's from Europe to us too. That is the point. It's not one way. It's both ways. The fact...
On that note, do you think that the whole ratification process will be finished by the end of the year?
No, was not from our side, was end. The point is from Europe. We don't know us. That's not a problem for us. We are not thinking about what can happen from the judicial way or what will happen. We are sure that the Euro Parliament will ratify, I don't know when, 2027, 2028, I don't know.
Well, I'm asking because the European Parliament hasn't ratified it yet, as you say, but they have taken the matter to court. What is your take on this? Are you worried that things go...
We work with the fact that we start on 1st of May and why the issue will develop and we will increase business, democracy, cooperation, for sure. In the end of the day, the parliamentarian will understand and the citizen will understand that this is only positive for them and for their life. The point is, now we need to build, and we will build. This is the reason why I'm here, because now we are not thinking about what will happen in 1 year, 2 years. No. Because we are not time. The citizens are not time. The citizens need to have answer, concrete answer. And that is what we discussed with the European Union to work together in a very concrete way.
Is the agreement today more important than it was 5 years ago?
For sure. Because we need to think, and Europe needs to think, in the global scenario, which are the regions that we can work together in a similar perspective, till complementary areas. And they are for sure. Obviously that we work in the agricultural way, but we have room for all in this game. We have room for all in this game. We are absolutely convinced, and we are prepared about that. And the point is, we want the European Union to be prepared too in that, because it's a win-win. It's not the fact that we will develop our capacity and the European Union. No, that is a wrong discussion, was a wrong discussion, but it's a problem of our European friends. We will support, because it's important for us to show that is what we signed in Paraguay was strategically for our life and the European life.
So what are European citizens going to see? What are the tangibles that Europeans are going to see once this is ratified?
Increase the economy, increase job, increase investment, because it's not investment from this part of the world to there, from there to here. In our region, there are a lot of money too, a lot of money. There are a lot of power of companies. So the point is to think how the economy is changing the world. How is the situation today in Europe, today in our region, today in the US? It's part of the global discussion. And we need, because we have many synergies, to try to develop our new capacities, because we are not thinking for 1 year. We are thinking for 5, for 10, for 15 years. One of the ideas that we have, because we are the chair of Mercosur, but we are the chair of CELAC. CELAC is the 33 countries of Latin America and the Caribbean. One of our chairing position is to concrete a roadmap between the European Union and CELAC. So 60 countries. That we never have this in the past. And if we go in the correct way, we will launch together between the European Union and CELAC in September in New York.
I like your excitement, Minister, but I also want to play devil's advocate here. If eventually the European Parliament, the European Union rejects this deal, what are the consequences? How do you see that?
For Europe, a lot, because we will continue with other countries.
Could that be China?
Obviously. China is the most important counterpart for the most of the country in the region. For Uruguay, small country, 3.5 million people, China is our first counterpart in the last 14 years. We are talking about trade, because when we are talking about investment, it's Europe. And when we are talking about service, it's the United States. So which is the point? No one way, no one. So there are many countries in Asia, in Africa. I put an example. In these 6 months in which we will chair Mercosur, we will try to conclude the agreement with Canada. We will try to conclude our agreement with Emirates. We will try to concrete our agreement with India. So no one way, no one. Just for this, but I am convinced that our friends from Europe will understand that, and we will continue because there are not other alternatives.
Under the assumption that the agreement might not be ratified by the European Parliament, would Uruguay be prepared to go it alone without the other Mercosur countries and strike a trade agreement with the EU?
We will substitute for other markets. We cannot wait. What we can say, what we can do, sit and wait? Absolutely no. And there are key countries that want to sign with us. We are a real power. We represent more than 400 million, a very important percentage about trade.
I want to ask you about what else is going on in the world. And there are shifting political realities in the Western Hemisphere. As you know, Donald Trump is pushing for American dominance in the Western Hemisphere. We've seen it in Venezuela. We might see it in Cuba. How concerned are you about the trend that Washington wants bigger influence?
We have a good relationship with the United States. They represent a big real power, but we develop our capacity. We signed it. We agreed with all the trans-Pacific countries that represent 25% of the trade in the world. We agreed with them. We agreed with ASEAN. We are developing with Africa. We are developing with the Gulf countries. For us, the key agreement is with the European Union. But the point is, we need to go ahead, and we will go ahead.
You say that Uruguay is on good terms with the United States. Good for you. But President Trump has pressured Uruguay, in particular, to restrict Chinese influence. But still, your president has deepened ties with Beijing. Doesn't that risk riling up Donald Trump?
No, because we are not working against no one. That's the point. So we are not working with China against the United States. We are working with China, with the United States, and we have the agreement with the European Union, which is the point. We need to work more and better, especially with our friends historically, that mean European Union. So the point is, it's true that we visit China last year, and we continue to have China like first counterpart in trade and in export our product. And we talk with all, okay, we want to deal with you. The point is we don't want to deal with X because we don't want to deal the business with you. That is clever. So we think in a positive way. And we took our position in the new government on 1st March last year. And this is the way in which we are working. And we will continue in that.
If you look at your neighbors in Latin America, there seems to be an emerging trend towards right-wing governments. Now, Uruguay has a center-left government. Are you feeling more and more isolated among your neighbors?
Theoretically, if we read how was the map in which all the last 8 elections was won by a right country, and we represent a center-left, we could be. But I can say to you that the life is more rich and interesting. That's what to say. Last week came on Friday, I think, the president of Chile. And the visit was an incredible visit to develop an incredible cooperation for the future. All of us are thinking to deep our cooperation because each one of us needs the other one. And that is something that goes beyond right or left because this is the trend of the world now. What you say was correct theoretically 6 months ago. Now, with example, I can say to you that the areas of cooperation and business between the countries in the region, with Uruguay for sure, will go in a positive way, for sure.
Mario López, Foreign Minister of Uruguay, thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thanks.
It was a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks you for this invitation.